You read the title, you saw the thumbnail, and now you're here and you click the video. And you might be asking yourself, why even try to remember this game? Not because it's breaking any ground in action-adventure games, but mostly for my own sake. Over the past decade, I never really forgot this game. I can't even tell you why I remembered it. Could it actually be the name? Was it the gameplay that stuck with me, or was the story so memorable and groundbreaking? It was definitely not the story. I'll spoiler that right now. But first off, who even made this game? Published by Capcom and developed by Don't Nod Entertainment, Remember Me released in June 2013 on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 and PC. It also released a week before The Last of Us, which absolutely murdered them. A 5.9 out of 10 by IGN probably didn't help either. Written by Daniel Krupa, I quote, "Remember Me is brimming with promise. It desperately wants to play up some big ideas, the fallibility of memory, the constructed nature of identity. And while its ambition is admirable, sadly, its best ideas don't really find their way into the gameplay itself." This really hits the nail on the head, as you'll see throughout the video. Briefly looking into the developer, Don't Nod Entertainment got founded in 2008, a year after the very first iPhone came out, and released Remember Me 5 years later. They are the same developers behind Life is Strange, which is actually a Square Enix IP. Wait, allows the player to rewind time and affect the past, present and future. Seems like you change how things are perceived, like if you would remix something. I see you, developers. They also made Chazant, I hope I'm saying this right, a game focused on climbing and solving puzzles. As someone who's been bouldering for the past 3 years, I dropped the game after an hour. It wasn't for me. The recently released Banishers Ghosts of New Eden got some sales, I guess, but doesn't seem like a huge hit. With their brand new game Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, they went back to what put them on the map in the first place. Making games focusing on characters and the connections between them. It's also fairly popular with the LGBTQ+ community. Good to see that the studio is making more games and that they are somewhat successful. But enough of the present. Let's go back 12 years into the past, revisit the game, its characters and story. And maybe, after all this, it might be remembered for a bit longer.
After our boat sank, I was the only refugee to reach the shore. I held my husband's hand until the very last second.
Did I accidentally start an Apple event? What am I watching here?
I felt everything. For the first time, I was living all of his love for me.
The game starts off not with the gameplay, but of course with a cutscene. Even in 2013, the developers knew a good cutscene at the start will make the average player stay longer and get invested into the world and characters. Is this actually a good cutscene? I mean...
I don't know if I'll ever find the courage to give these memories to my son. But I'm relieved to know that they are all safe and secure.
The characters on screen give us their totally subjective experience of how Sensen changed their lives.
Thanks to my Sensen, my husband lives on. Here and here.
Sensen 6 is the latest product of Memorize, releasing in October 2084. Sensen is the hologram you see at the back of their neck. It lets you share and receive memories of others. It also lets the company delete your memories, so you become a husk of who you once were. In addition to the uber-clean Apple-like presentation, you might realize how bad it would be for a company to be able to manage your memories. And we aren't talking about your Google Photos or your stuff in iCloud. I'm talking about your literal memories in your head. This video is sponsored by Proton Drive. I'm kidding. This whole scene strongly reminded me of Black Mirror, specifically Season 1, Episode 3, The Entire History of You. Peak cinema back in 2011, which was 2 years before this game came out. With the opening cutscene done, I jump into Episode 0. 0? Don't you start with 1? The episode is called Rebirth Reboot. Ah, I get it. Anyhow, the main protagonist is getting tortured. This scene is long, by the way. They really want to drive it home that this Sensen thing might not be too good. After some memories were yanked out, a guy comes in asking her name.
Host memory wiped. Sensen awaiting new memorial content.
Good day. Can you hear me?
Yes.
What is your name?
Nilin.
What year? What did you say?
Nilin.
Damn. Now that's a first.
Nilin still remembers her name, which is out of the ordinary. She is either resistant to memory wipes or, in general, being lucky. Typical main protagonist.
What year is it?
I don't know.
It's 2084. Do you know where you are?
No.
Dr. Quaid is being called up on the hologram on the wall, and he mentions that he will delete the last barriers himself.
Complete the substitution protocols, then send her to me. I'll erase the last barriers myself.
After a robot comes in, scanning Nilin and giving me a mini tutorial on how to look around, I can stand up and walk out of my cell.
Raise your head, please. Thank you. Now stand up. Please follow the orange line to your next assignment.
Wait, why can a prisoner walk around casually? Especially when there are doctors, nurses, and staff standing around. I also just got my memory wiped. You think no prisoner is just going to be confused? Either way, I then receive a call by someone in a prison to an inmate. How do I have a phone? Is it that Sensen thing? Since when does it have 5G connection and HD audio calls? And why? I'm way too overthinking this. Nilin struggles to walk to the next room and stands in line for the machine to get properly wiped. Yeah, this doesn't look good.
Who are you?
I'm the voice you have to listen to if you want to live.
Don't leave me alone.
Thankfully, the voice in Nilin's head, earphone Sensen thing, anyhow, tells me to trust it if I want to live. Trusting it because I have no other option, I go under the door to the left that opened up.
The door. Go under it. Now.
that is some damn good animation work. Just look at the detail. After a quick chase sequence with a big bad robot, I escape. If you think 3 seconds about this, using a robot this way that chases and damages property is a really dumb idea. I know it's all for the gameplay, but you also want me to get invested into your world, which already has some flaws. Looking past the big-ass robot, Nilin jumps down the hatch and probably gets a bruise or two.
Get up.
Finally having full control of Nilin and being able to move and look around, I quickly notice how much of a vibe this game is. Even 12 years after its release on a modern gaming PC, the lighting is still top tier.
You're almost there. Slide into a casket. Quickly.
Following the random caller, I jump into a casket to escape the prison. After that, in a fully rendered 1080p cutscene with so much motion blur and grain, the caller mentions his name.
Nilin, are you okay?
No, I need to get out of here. Get me out of here now.
Calm down. My name is Edge. You have to trust me, sis.
I just did, bro, and now I am trapped in a coffin.
So the caller is named Edge. Peak early 2010 writing here. Edge has some good old exposition for us. Nilin was a memory hunter that was able to not only steal memories, but also remix them.
You were a memory hunter, Nilin. The best. Other hunters merely pillage memories, but you can remix them. And above all, you are an errorist, just like me.
Personally, I'm not a huge fan of when a writing team forces a bunch of nouns on you. I know you kind of need names for things in your world, and you want some world building, but I was 11 minutes in, and I had so many nouns and names to remember now. We have Sensen, Memorize, Nilin, Dr. Quaid, Edge, Memory Hunter, and Errorist. It's not a lot, but I don't even have an emotional connection to Nilin yet, the main protagonist. But I do understand why they had to do it this way, because this game is fairly short and they are speeding through it at breakneck speed. Thankfully, after most cutscenes and big dialogue dumps, you do have a few seconds to your own and can think about the characters and the world. It gives you that breathing space, which is quite important if you are dumping this much information on the player. Now starting episode 1, Low Life, Low Tech, and entering Slum 404 in Neo Paris. Nilin gets broken out of the coffin thanks to some strange creatures, more like zombies. They really tried to make them look inhuman, so you don't feel too bad about punching them in the face. Speaking of punching, combat. The game finally introduces it with the combo lab and presence. Okay, stick with me here. The whole game revolves around you putting in the presence into the combo you want to do. There aren't many combos you get throughout the game. I only had 4 combos at the end. The focus is on what the input does and in what combo. For now, I can put in a power present to deal damage with a simple 3-button combo pressing X on the controller. If I do the full combo, it does more damage compared to only doing the first 2 actions. The game also strongly helps you out by automatically moving you towards the enemy. So even if you are a meter or two away from the enemy, the game pulls your character towards it. For context, before this game came out, we had 3 Batman Arkham games, which kinda perfected this fighting style in a third-person action-adventure game. In Remember Me, Nilin doesn't feel as smooth, which is weird. Batman can quickly dash between enemies. Nilin, on the other side, who is an athletic-looking woman, if I may say so, was quite static. Still, the animation and impact of hits was good. You just have to focus on fighting one enemy at a time, or accept that switching between enemies is a bit of a hassle. Or maybe the word would be that it feels heavy? And for just a second before we continue, I have to pause this screen right here. Look at this scene. This doesn't have ray tracing. And this was 12 years ago. The lighting is so darn good. Continuing on, Edge mentioned in the previous scene that these creatures are called Leapers. Get ready to see them 100 times throughout the game. Moving on, I come across this healing station which helps the average gamer. Me. As a side note, there are no ways to quickly heal yourself during a fight, like with a health potion. Edge explains to Nilin that she has to get to the leaking brain, which is in Slum 404. How do I get there? Good old climbing. The climbing in Remember Me is serviceable and clearly made for the casual audience. No complicated button inputs, holding buttons, or any shenanigans. Your Sensen, the thing at the back of your neck, is your GPS system telling you where to go and what you can climb on. After going up to a wall and pressing A, Nilin just jumps up on the ledge. Then you can move to the left and right, or even jump to a ledge that is further away. Fairly basic. What isn't basic is that you can hold down LB on your controller to climb much faster. Why isn't this in every video game ever about climbing? To be fair, climbing is not as expressive as in Assassin's Creed games. You can't really build up a skill in this game over 100 hours compared to some Assassin's Creed titles. Moving on and admiring the view, I'm talking about the lighting, I finally get out of the lair and into Slum 404. Some nice panning shots give me an overview of the environment and the slums. I'm sure a lot of artists and developers worked really hard making the game feel good, and it really shows. I think the world of Remember Me looks really darn good. It has that cyberpunk vibe that I enjoy. No, not the game. You can watch my old video for that hot take. Even if the environment is great, they probably ran out of time and couldn't really let you discover this world. The result is a fairly linear game, because, spoiler, everything is pretty much a long hallway with some small areas to the side. There really is only one way forward, and 1 or 2 paths to the side to get extra upgrades, like a fraction of a health pack. Speaking of, the game explains that old memory hunters left notes, and that tells me where to find these fractions of an upgrade. Kind of a neat way to implement a help system for the casual player to find upgrades without literally telling them on a big-ass map. But again, that's only possible because it is so linear. It also keeps the cost of the game down, because now they don't need dozens of memory hunters with unique voice actors. Next up is another fight. This unlocks the regen present. If I hit an enemy, I regenerate health, but the present has to be inside my combo. In this clip, I use an X and Y present in the second combo that now unlocked. This gives me a basic Y-X-Y combo, dealing a small amount of damage and healing me. I genuinely like this system, because it actively promotes to choose what type of combo and playstyle I want. Do I want to deal more damage? Then I should use damage present in my combos. Do I want a combo only for healing? Then I can set it up that way. After beating up half the neighborhood and moving on, I reach a threshold, giving me a procedural mastering point. You see what I mean with them making up nouns for basic things? It's a skill point, bro. Well, not entirely, because you can't unlock a skill with it. They allow you to unlock more and sometimes different present. For some strange reasons though, the developers limit you when you can unlock them. So right now, I was only able to unlock an X power present, which I want because damage. But what if I wanted more healing, or maybe a Y power present? I can't do that. I don't know why they did that. Maybe they didn't want you to get too powerful too quickly? It feels very limiting. Continuing on, I climbed a dam-like structure. Nilin kills a guy.
Get off of me!
And I ultimately find some poor guys getting absolutely whacked by leapers. This scene introduces a typical tank-like enemy you see in most games. He is called the Skinner, but the neat twist, Skinner enemies get much stronger when other leapers are around. I also noticed that leapers are climbing up on walls now. Maybe I get an ability later that allows me to shoot them. After a basic puzzle, moving a machine and climbing up onto it, a robot helps me out. Thanks, buddy. Another nice panning shot later, and walking around, enjoying the scenery, I break through a metal barrier of some sort. Flashback time. Nilin suddenly gets a flashback to an ability which she used to stun enemies. We'll be seeing more of that soon. During more climbing sections, you can see a poster of Olga Sedova on the bottom right. It even has her number, so you can call her for a job? She looks like she's a painter. Painting the wall with your blood, that is. On the other side of the poster, there's Nilin's wanted poster showing that she is in her mid-20s and is worth 300,000 French euros? I don't know. And then Nilin nearly dies.
Nice shortcut, Edge.
Damn, she is sassy.
Don't stop, Nilin! Stop!
After a classic runaway scene in these types of games, I finally arrive at the leaking brain. This is Tommy's bar. He is a fellow memory hunter that is very happy to see Nilin, but she lost her memories and has no idea who he is, even with his pretty face.
Well, I'll be! Edge did it! Come here, sweetheart! Nilin, it seems like a lifetime.
I'm sorry. I have no memory of you.
You really can't remember this pretty boy face of mine?
I'm sorry.
Hell. Well, we all lost bits and pieces in the war. But you're free, sweetheart. That's what counts.
I guess.
After Tommy explained that he had to stay for the entire program, as in the program in the prison, which probably explains the many scars, he tells Nilin that she should get out of her outfit and into her old combat suit, which is safely stored in the locker.
Bob! Get out of here! I'll call Johnny! Big advantage with the natives is they've got the memory of a goldfish. No risk of
Of course, we get the classic hero shot showing off her outfit, now suited up, and Tommy saying something about that Olga woman. The game spawns her right behind Nilin. This is what I meant with the story is at 2x speed sometimes. Now with the first antagonist attacking Nilin, the game offers me to press B. Time to dive into the most iconic gameplay mechanic in Remember Me: remixing memories. This is probably the most important part of the game, as the other mechanics are fairly simple. Climbing is okay, fighting is fine. Remixing memories though, in a game that pushes this memory aspect, has to be really good, or else the game would fall on its face. Thankfully, it's kinda well done. I like how the environment slowly fades in, like remembering the memory that Nilin is currently looking at. Then we see a cutscene which is the original memory that we are going to remix in a second. This gives us, the player, a look into the characters and fleshing them out on why they did what they did, or how they came to be who they are. I have no real data about these remixing sections of the game, but this whole thing comes across as fairly simple and straightforward from a player or gameplay perspective. But I think coming up and actually making these scenes was probably incredibly difficult. The sheer amount of animation work, writing, recording a variety of dialogue for different scenarios that you can trigger. My goodness, super impressive. Getting back to the scene, Olga Sedova is helping out her sick husband, David, to get some of her memories so he can remember and hopefully awake. You notice that Dr. Quaid is just YOLOing it. He has no data if this would ever work. As a reminder, he is the same person who wanted to delete our memories at the beginning of the game. Our quest in this remix is to make Dr. Quaid kill David. Just think about how fucked up this is. You, as the main protagonist, remix the memory of someone who wants to hurt or kill you right now, and create a fake experience that the person will have to live with forever, unless Nilin unremixes it, which, by the way, never happens in this game. So that person will have to live with a really bad experience, which is also a fake experience. Now let's talk about the gameplay. After the original scene, I get a quick tutorial on what to do and how to do it. Fairly simple and casual like most other mechanics. First, you rotate the stick backwards to go backwards in the memory or in time. Who let you back in here? Go away, Life is Strange. You can also speed up that process by holding RB, which you definitely want to be doing. When you come across a memory glitch, you can activate it, which results in a variety of things. Some glitches don't matter, and some might mess up the strategy of what you want to achieve. So it's a bit of a trial and error, but thankfully with fast rewinding you don't really waste time. Speaking of time, I kind of knew that in this minigame you want to go back in time all the way and then work your way forward. The reason is, and the game explains it, if you have altered the memory and then rewind more, you rewind the alteration. So you want to work your way from the beginning of the memory until the end. This also helps you to see all the glitches so you can plan ahead. Unlocking the strap and watching the memory unfold once again, the game tells me that this isn't enough to reach my objective. I like that little help from the game to push me in the right direction. Rewinding all the way back, I notice a few glitches and activate them. It's a bit strange because you have to push the stick upwards to pause the memory to then be able to activate the glitch. I expected it to work without having to pause, but no big deal. Now playing around a bit, I rewind the memory flow from the sick patient to Olga, which ultimately kills Olga. Oops. This hits way harder emotionally than people punching themselves in a cutscene or movie. It's like as if gameplay in which you can control the outcome of something is quite cool. How can I squeeze in my opinion here for Expedition 33? I won't, we're moving on. To speed it up a bit, I ultimately achieved the goal of killing David in Olga's memories. So now she thinks that Dr. Quaid, who is part of Memorize, killed her husband, even though it was me, the main protagonist. This is so fucked.
Degenerate, die!
Now with her memories changed and asking Nilin if she still wants to take down Memorize, she backs off and becomes our friend.
Do you still plan to take down Memorize?
Yes.
Then we share the same enemy.
Then I get a few haha funny dialogues between Olga and Tommy.
You were young and quick on your feet. Just because you're not on my list doesn't make us drinking buddies.
Don't sweat it. I'll cancel the romantic weekend for two.
Nilin gets onto the ship and we fly off to the next episode. I like the remixing part, but if you think about it for 3 seconds, it kind of doesn't work from a writing or story perspective. Let me activate Dunbo the Nitpicker here. Because it doesn't change reality, only perceived reality. And the reality is, David is still alive at Memorize. And they might contact Olga, telling her that he is alive. And she has to pay them to continue the treatment. She might deny it, but they could just jump on FaceTime and show that he is in his bed. She might even go there and check it out herself. In addition to that, being an assassin or hit woman for hire, how does she not know what Nilin is capable of? She must have some info on Nilin that she can remix or change memories. So after your memories got altered and you feel a bit strange, you might think twice why that is. You are not going to just believe whatever is said to you and not question anything. Of course, this is a game for a casual audience. They have only so much time to make all these cutscenes. Still, at that point, you shouldn't be writing this kind of story, or at least write it so it makes somewhat sense. There is one very dark way for this whole remix memory mechanic to make sense, which I'll explain later when it comes up. Moving on to a short cutscene with Nilin in her head. I really liked this part. It first pulls you a bit away from the moment-to-moment gameplay, while also giving the player a one-on-one moment with the main character. It lets writers use this opportunity to have the main protagonist reflect on her actions and what happened in the story so far. This rarely happens in games I play. A game I enjoy and might talk about on the channel in the future is Horizon. It has been a few years since I played the first game, but as far as I remember, Aloy never really reflected on her actions throughout both games. At least not in a one-on-one moment with her and the player. That is a bit of a missed opportunity. Imagine instead of having a casual stroll on your mount throughout the game, she actually monologues about what happened and if this was the only solution, giving us the player a tiny glimpse of her being aware. I think that would do a lot for the character. Nilin, on the other side, does exactly that. The writing just isn't good. Okay, it's kind of okay at the start, especially in the next scene in 20 seconds. But the writing falls apart later in the game. Back inside Nilin, she says that both Tommy and Edge want her help to punish the privileged few in Neo Paris. Going over the next part of the mission, she wonders why her enemies removed her memories. Is she really that dangerous? She feels the throb of power that not only scares them, but even herself. Now being 50 minutes into the game, Nilin says something that I can only explain with the phrase, peak writing.
The power to take what someone is, their memories, and bend them to my will. To rewrite their history. To play God.
A main protagonist talking about playing God. Even if she says it sends her reeling, she has to learn that power and master this talent. Well done, writers. Making me think twice about this so-called protagonist. Episode 2, called Macrowave, starts off with Nilin being dropped off by Olga. Olga is off to attend some family business, and Edge is still called that way. In the second episode of Remember Me, we'll be seeing a beautiful part of Neo Paris. Truly incredible work by the artists and developers. According to Rewind Forward, the making of Remember Me, they mentioned that there are different parts of Neo Paris. The slums are called Low Paris, the part we are going through in a second is called Mid Paris, and later we'll travel to High Paris. High Paris has all the crypto people that hodled for 90 years. My expensive monkey picture I bought for thousands of dollars lost 98% of value. It's gonna go up again. It's going to be fine. Back to the game, the quest was to get to the most famous architect in Neo Paris, Kaori Sheridan. She has some confidential codes hidden in her memory and apparently has remembered every detail of every building in Neo Paris. Clearly, she's part elephant. Zach Scott on Twitter would love that. The contact we have to get to is called Bad Request. Why do all of them have wacky names? I kind of get it though, because if he is a memory hunter too and fights some sort of revolution, not using your real name is probably a smart idea. This entire episode puts a massive spotlight on the whole linear game design. Previously, I was underground and it kind of makes sense that it wasn't open. But now being in the overworld and in a city, you kind of expect multiple paths. That's just not this game. You can walk around, walk up to buildings and see details in form of a hologram, but ultimately you can't interact with anything or go anywhere. Well, anywhere but one direction. You are either conveniently blocked off by other people or robots. Speaking of robot...
I'm late. Dear Lord, I'm so very sorry, madam. Hey! Are you okay? Should I call for emergency assistance?
No! Hey, I'm fine.
If you should desire to file a complaint, my identification has been saved by your Sensen terminal. Good day.
After Nilin quickly denies the robot's request to call emergency services, it runs off to their owner, quickly mentioning the robot has an interesting design. Clearly the robots aren't super cute like the typical Disney design, or even the hyper-polished designs of robots like in iRobot. It's clearly showing muscles and connections of tissue. Unsure if it's accurate, not a doctor by the way, but a cool design nonetheless. Makes them feel a bit more real. After the police service of the Memorize company helps out a person getting home, they notice Nilin, and combat ensues. Jesus Christ! She blew their brains out! Technically, she was overloading the sensen at the back of their neck. But that thing is hooked up to their brain, right? I'm pretty sure they have brain damage now. Like, what the fuck? After unlocking a new present, I check out something way more important. The coffee prices. Apparently, inflation isn't going to stop in the next 60 years, as seen by the cafe cream costing a whole 10 euros. Holy moly! Climbing a bit and sensing the fury building up inside me from reading those prices, Nilin unlocks her first ability, Sensen Fury. Yes, you heard right. There was a roar sound, like a cat. Oh, you have a female protagonist in the early 2010s? You gotta use the cat sounds because women have longer nails and they scratch like cats. I'm so glad we left that in the past. Back to the ability. Sensen Fury can be activated if I have a filled up focus gauge. Gosh. How do you say that word?
Gauge.
That is the blue thing on the bottom left of my health bar. Additionally, if I overload an enemy, aka blow their brain out, I fill up the bar even faster. When Sensen Fury is active, each hit does more damage, and if I keep the combo going, I do even more damage. It's the typical temporary damage buff with a focus on combos. After more goons appeared, the game told me about cooldown present. A new type of present I can unlock now, slot into my combo, and with each successful hit, it lowers the cooldown of my abilities by 10 seconds, which is a lot. A really neat way to actively reduce the cooldown of abilities while also dealing a tiny amount of damage. After getting furious once again and blowing a guy's brain out, I continue on with my initial quest. That means some climbing through St. Michel Rotunda and finally meeting up with Bad Request.
Nilin the Hunter. I'm your biggest fan.
Thanks.
Boy oh boy is he a side character. I don't know if it's the writing, the voice acting, the animation, just something is off. He doesn't feel like a proper character in this world. But again, this was developed throughout the early 2010s. We have to give it some leeway.
It's an incredible honor to get opened up by the best. And I appreciate the fact that you didn't siphon my head. For a second there, I thought you might wipe our encounter. Remember you soon.
After stealing the memories from Bad Request, as he requested, Nilin can see a remembering, which is virtual projection of a digitized memory. Kind of, again, neat way of showing the player in this game how it might look like if you have memories of someone else. It's like augmented reality without the annoying glasses. Gameplay-wise, this is similar to a tailing mission in which you follow an NPC and potentially have to do some quick-time events. Fairly basic and usually doesn't last too long. After I beat up some more goons, I kind of felt weak. Probably because now that I use a cooldown present in my first combo, which was my damage combo, I deal less damage overall. The damage should actually come from doing more abilities, not doing more combos now. unless I change the presence in my combos. After another remembering and seeing this cool animation after I jumped onto the robot, I got higher up to some pretty fancy buildings. Bad Request also told me I can see the view of the robots, so better not step into that field of view or AoE. Whatever camera the robots use is far worse than any GoPro in the past 10 years. Wait, this game is 12 years old. Okay, maybe it's accurate? Wait, no, the game plays 60 years in the future. Hold up. Wanting to check out the buildings a bit closer, I crash through the glass ceiling.
God damn it!
The game introduces a fellow ex-memory hunter on the TV called Kid Christmas. Do I need to say anything about the names, or is it obvious by now?
This Kid Christmas. I knew him. He's a memory hunter like me.
Was. He's the shame of your profession. Could have been a genius, but he traded his soul for a fat paycheck.
Edge mentions that he could have been a genius, but wanted money instead and sold out. Kind of based. Anyways, my new NFT collection dropped. Oh my god, more enemies! Better activate my cat powers. Holy, this never looks not insanely painful. After Nilin complains about climbing, which she probably did her entire life as an errorist, which she forgot about because they stole her memories. Okay, you know what? Good point, game. I did some more remembering puzzles and didn't know where to go. That's why I was looking around confused. I finally get to Kaori Sheridan and simply steal her memory.
That is not right. I need to check those measurements again. Where was I already? The dam? No, not the dam, huh? That's strange. It's really strange.
Convenient that she didn't look up. Jumping through a hologram, which is pretty cool, I did a basic puzzle, like a climbing puzzle, and failed twice. After that, I get to maybe the best environmental shot in the entire game. Truly stunning. Something I want to mention off script is how incredible the music is. I think I truly didn't mention it enough. Now onto the first boss fight, Kid Christmas.
You were one of the best memory hunters ever. Big girl. Maybe the best, but you took a different road. And look where that got you. A criminal, hunted, and a head full of holes. Political ideals are so last millennium.
You always waste so much saliva! Or is it just when you're on the air?
You always had that cocky, loudmouth thing going for you. I'm gonna enjoy this. Time for the Christmas show!
It's a wrestling-inspired boss and was fine. I defeated him on my first attempt and it only took about 3 minutes, but it felt longer because you can't do damage to Kid Christmas unless you use Sensen Fury. The game wanted me to use a combo to lower the cooldown, use Sensen Fury to deal damage, rinse and repeat.
Well done, big girl. You're through to the final segment of the show.
Shut up and fight!
Excellent proposition. It's time for Sudden Death! Come on!
At the end, I got a quick time event which looks pretty cool and dynamic.
Oh, kid. All these years, and still on the losing side.
Ultimately, Nilin overloads Kid Christmas's Sensen and blows his brain out.
No, wait, we can talk. I can give you a whole other...
With him defeated, I steal his invention, the Spammer, a device that shoots at objects and enemies from afar. Neat upgrade and gave me some Metroidvania vibes. So it's more like a missile from the Metroid series, which can open doors or deal damage. That's kind of it. After deactivating the force field, we get this scene.
The name is Nilin. This time, you'll remember me.
A POV, you disagreed with your dommy mommy. Anyhow, breaking news. A dam got sabotaged, water flooded St. Michel Rotunda, the place we were just at, and countless lives got probably lost. Slum 404 ain't looking good either. P.S. Your Honor, it wasn't me. The voice in my head told me to do it. He is called Edge. He did it. Please believe, thankfully, Nilin doesn't actually say that. The player has another one-on-one scene, and she does contemplate if this was the right choice, or if she should have left the city and create a new life. Pretty good writing.
But I wanted to come back to being public enemy number one. Was it part of who I am? Have we brought justice for the outcasts of Slum 404, or have my actions condemned them to more suffering?
Still, she decides to find her true self by going back to La Bastille and getting her memories back. And the only way to get back into the prison is to find Johnny Greenteeth. Would that be a good or bad name for a dentist? Starting episode 3, High Tension Deep Exit, I appeared to be in Heights of Slum 404. Edge contacts Nilin right away, asking her to go back to Tommy's bar, who can help her to get into La Bastille. Nilin asks, couldn't she have done that earlier this morning when she was there? Edge explains that the lower levels had to be flooded first. Good writing here, because Nilin asks something that the player themselves might ask about. Most players don't want to constantly backtrack, so this order of operations makes sense if we trust Edge. After running through a market, I find the Scaramax, which plain and simple can be shot with the Spammer ability and give me 200 procedural mastering points. Fancy. Approaching the leapers around the corner unlocks a new, longer combo for me to put my presence in. After pondering for a bit, I said no and just whacked the enemies with my basic 3-button combo. I'm a simple guy. What can I say? The game explains that using the full 6-button combo will result in more PMP, procedural mastering points, which you kind of want unless you don't want to unlock more presence. Moving through these tight streets, I noticed how incredibly detailed everything is, including the robots that 60 years into the future might offer certain 18+ services. The lighting team is doing top-notch work as always. In the next fight, the game explains prowlers, which hang out on walls and can be shot down with the Spammer. That can make fights a bit more random and hectic, but also keeps the fights engaging. After some climbing, I got into another fight and unlocked the Chain Prison, which is the 4th and last type of prison in the game. This one inherits and multiplies the effect of the previous prison in the combo. Additionally, it should be placed towards the end of a combo. Keep in mind, if you get hit or mess up the combo, you don't get to the present, and thus, it wasn't useful. So you gotta balance risk with reward. The reward being punching someone harder in the face. I put it in my second combo, combining heal and damage, which sounded like a good idea. Not using it though, wasn't. Thus, I had my first death.
Head punch!
On my second go, I continue with my 3-button combo, because I didn't want to learn a more complicated combo when the combat itself wasn't too difficult. A few more environmental shots later, Tommy calls and talks about Johnny Greenteeth, who apparently knows all about the old passageways inside La Bastille, according to Edge. This Edge character seems to be somewhat important. We can trust Edge, right? Him deciding to flood and probably murder many innocent people in Neo-Paris. Yeah, it's fine. With a new present allowing me to deal more damage, a new enemy type appears. These guys are invisible unless a light is shining on them. Unsure how corruption to your sensen thing makes you invisible. Either way, neat introduction by having them scour away after shooting the floodlights, which ultimately brings me to a small arena, having to fight and dodge them while keeping the floodlight active. Now, back to climbing. Nilin dies.
This is gonna hurt.
Oh, it's not that bad. I forgot that this is a video game and we gotta get to places. Put a band-aid on. Let's go, Nilin. Another ambush later, with more invisible enemies, I barely survive with a slither of health. If you are asking yourself, why not use a combo with a heal present? Excuse me, I'm playing the game right now. Do you want the controller and play instead? Yeah, I don't think I was thinking when I played the game. I really should have used the combo system to my advantage instead of marrying myself to the 3-button combo. Something that I did take advantage of was the new Sensen DOS. This reveals the invisible enemies and stuns them. Now with the spammer, the game can introduce some more interesting puzzles. This one is fairly simple, allowing me to shoot at buttons, which control objects that Nilin can climb on. I then didn't climb down and fell to my death. I felt very embarrassed and thought twice of cutting this part out. Climbing around a bit and looking at the environment, which again is amazing, I somehow got reminded of an anime that a friend recommended me. It was called Suisei no Gargantia. And if I'm already talking about anime, watch Decadence. Thank you very much. Back to the game, and arriving at the leaking brain, the Leapers are trying to destroy the bar. I can't let that happen, so I had to bring out the big guns. Technically 3 guns. My 3-button combo, that is. After fending them off, Tommy upgrades my spammer to the Junk Bolt Spammer, allowing me to shoot at equipment and buildings, weakening or even destroying them. It also does more damage to enemies, but also requires the entire charge at the bottom left of my health bar. So you can't spam it and have to wait for it to recharge. Sealing the tunnels so the Leapers can't crawl out of it anymore, I saved Tommy's bar. About that...
Is that all you got? That's what I thought! Oh, shit. Hey, you wanna help? You can stick around, help me fix up my place.
No can do. Bigger fish to fry.
Nilin says she's sorry about his bar, but she's a busy woman and has to get to places. So, off to the sewer. God damn, is the lighting in this place clean! Also, good job on the environmental storytelling. Deeper in the sewer, I finally spot Johnny Greenteeth, who had one of those leg lengthening surgeries. After a quick scuffle between us, a cutscene shows the subway turning on and some leapers trying to get on it. Now comes combat in a tight place in a third-person action-adventure game. Yeah, the camera hates this a lot. So did I. I used pretty much everything to my advantage, from dodging, doing quick combos to quickly move between enemies, and even used the spammer. With the upgraded spammer, I shoot the weak point of the door a few times and get Mr. Greenteeth stuck, so I can steal his memories. Then, the entire subway crashes. Nilin just casually brushes off some dirt, stands up, and we're off once again. How the hell is she not dead? I tell you, these main protagonists are something else. It's like they have some sort of armor. Speaking of, the plot has to move on, and Edge mentions that Johnny might be a new species of leapers. Nilin mentions his mind felt like a bubbling sea of rage and suffering. Hey, that's just like my bum after eating spicy food. Running through the metro to escape, I have to pause and mention it again. The environment team is killing it. Good lord! Out of the metro, I got straight into the next fight. Finding remembrance of Johnny Greenteeth, it shows me how he went through the minefield which allowed him to get into La Bastille undetected and safely 7 years ago. Taking the same route with some climbing, I get to a piece of equipment that conveniently is placed in the open and can turn off all the mines. To be fair, it's in the middle of a minefield. But like, still, why? This was way too easy for a god gamer like myself, so the game spawns in a robot that apparently has gone mad. Robots have emotions in this world, I guess. Back when we escaped from La Bastille, I had to run away from one. But now, with the spammer, I can actually fight it and slowly break it down. If I dodge a certain attack, the robot gets stuck in the ground and I can shoot off his arm. I hope this doesn't hurt him. Anyways, the fight is actually kind of tough. It's fairly well made with some tight timings. For example, when the arm is broken off, the robot also slams on the ground, stunning Nilin, giving the robot a chance to attack. There is a small window to dodge, but it's fairly small and it's a big-ass robot, so if you fail, you'll take a robo-punch to the face. Also, yes, I died in the last phase. I had to repeat the entire fight. So I had a good chance to notice a few things. Like when it tries to stop you from attacking. After shooting at its weak point for even just a few shots, it will dash towards you and hit you. Very aggressive enemy, and I really like it. It's not passive and doesn't circle around you as you awkwardly wait for stuff to happen. In addition, its attacks are actually readable and make somewhat sense. This is totally not a jab at any game by From Software. Anyhow, the robot actively tries to damage me, or disturb me, in whatever I was doing. Very good. It also throws boxes. After losing both arms, it only has one way to kill me. Big AoE explosion. If I dodge that, its core is vulnerable, allowing me to shoot it with the upgraded spammer, stunning it, and commence the QuickTime event! With the robot destroyed, it was time to move on to La Bastille. Back in Nilin's head, she explains that La Bastille is the most notorious prison in Europe. Hey, that's where I am. With Sensen being a thing, the memories are taken away from the, in quotes, patients and returned to them after they served their sentence. The reason is, if they have no memories of their past, they have no reason to escape to something or someone. Thus, they are stuck. The head of the system is Madame, and she is the key to all the memories, as she can access them. I like how Nilin mentions that Edge is sending her back to get her memories and liberate the other errorists. It sounds like she doesn't really care about it that much. She just follows Edge and his commands. We'll be seeing more of how Nilin thinks about this liberation as time goes on. In episode 4, Panoptic Icon, it was time to track the bitch down. Not my words.
Only Madame has access to the Bastille memory servers. Trace the bitch down.
Running through more great environment, Edge calls Nilin, and she quickly mentions that first he breaks her out, and now she has to get back into the prison. He of course frames it that this is very important for the prisoners and her own memories. It is where they are going to rise from the ashes and fight back. It's like this happened before in France. The French Revolution started in 1789. Combat! After fighting invisible leapers, I come across a broken drone, steal its detector sensor, and can now see the AoE of drones, or its few. This helps me dodge and weave around them. Keep in mind, this was only possible with the Remembrance and with the help of the other guy. What's his name? The Breaker? No. The Outcast. A bad request, that's the guy. My Sensen with the detector upgrade lets me get through this drone-filled area easily. Then I walk into a prison cell. On purpose? This many years in the future, they don't have cameras in the prison cells. This is not the most notorious prison. It's the worst prison. With literally no cameras detecting me, I run through some areas, and to be fair, I love the vibe. Either it's the charm that older games have, or maybe it's really just a good-looking game. I'm really curious what you guys think. Entering the penitentiary, I come across Sergeant Vaughn and Dr. Quaid having a quick, not-so-friendly chat.
As much as I appreciate your services, I do nonetheless require a minimum standard to the specimens you bring us. I need healthy specimens, not trauma victims!
Yeah, whatever. Just fill out a damn form.
Appointment notice. Madam and Dr. Quaid are required in the interrogation block.
I shall mention your slipping standards to Madame. See what she wants to do about it.
Oh, gee, would you? That'd be just peachy, prick.
Sergeant Vaughn knows all the glitches and backdoors of the system, so we gotta steal some memories from him. He's also, a pervert?
Hello, beautiful ladies. Time for your cavity search.
After beating up a bunch of guys in the bathroom, Nilin gets some quick revenge.
This is for everything you did to me! And that's for everything else I can't even remember!
There you go, sis.
Hell yeah, sis! Is this cringe to someone else or just me? Using Vaughn's memories, I continue on and suddenly get grabbed on the head, without my consent by the way, and the game introduces the Heavy Enforcer with a shield. These shields can be broken with the upgraded Spammer, and its powerful shot. Back in the bathroom, when I was alone with 9 guys, I noticed the 3-button combo ain't doing so much anymore. The enemies have become quite tanky now. It was time to use the 5-button combo and also equip some present in the 7-button combo. I use a combination of power present and cooldown present, so I can use my abilities more often. Sadly, the last present is a Y present, and the game does not allow me to get another Y power present. Again, cool system, just for whatever reason, incredibly limiting. You can see on the top right that I have 2 keys, or 2 unlocks available, but not really an option to get what I want. Definitely a bad feeling when playing the game. Moving on into the gym area, because of course there is one when it comes to dudes and guys, I slowly get used to my longer combo, more enforcers join, and the game now introduces a new ability, the Logic Bomb. A virus that destroys shields and deals heavy damage to all targets in range. Perfect solution to a problem that just occurred. I think this is very common with games that are this short. You can't have too many problems, or else you constantly have to solve them for the player. Because having options means the game needs to be longer to even have options. In Remember Me, the game is so short, it introduces a problem or threat and instantly solves it with an upgrade or ability. It's kind of neat for players that want a more linear game though. You don't really have to think about the dozen options and can just sit back and play. Instead of throwing more goons at me, the prison actually uses its resources by locking the doors. Thanks to Vaughn's memories though, I override the system and get through the door anyway. Then the game finally introduces Madame, and that is one hell of a walk.
Madam, we have a security breach in the guard's locker room.
Expand, please.
Sergeant Vaughn has been attacked. Total memory wipe.
I want that intruder found. Double patrols. I'm activating the brain drain. The only person allowed to play with memories here.
She activates the machine in the room that apparently stuns a person by maybe overloading the Sensen. So similar to Nilin's Sensen DOS ability I learned earlier. She is also using a gauntlet around her arm to activate it, which is similar to the spammer or the original gauntlet we got at the beginning of the game at Tommy's bar. So maybe that is a common tool in this world if you are either higher up in a company or a bit of a tinkerer yourself. But to be honest, I doubt there is any deep lore behind it. Dodging the light rays by hiding behind the pillars, I get into a cell, which I then override and it moves itself to maintenance. A few rooms ahead, a prisoner runs away, but gets quickly shot down by a new flying enemy type called Seraphim. They constantly shoot at a certain pace, trying to break your combo. Doing a decent amount of damage, they aren't too scary, but shouldn't be underestimated. To beat the Seraphims, I can use a fully charged spammer twice and blast them away. I think I could have used other abilities at this moment, but kind of forgot. The fight overall is more difficult than others, now that there are different types of enemies with different abilities, timings and solutions to deal with them. My 3-button combo wouldn't be doing much anymore, but I'll still try to squeeze it in once in a while. After the fight, I get to an interrogation room, and looking through the one-way mirror, I see bad request being handled by Madame.
And when I've finished with you, you'll think you've always adored me.
No, never!
Silence! In time, you will willingly give your life for me.
Edge quickly mentions that now is the time to steal her memories, so I do.
In a few hours, you'll have stuff.
Questionable why Madame didn't have some super crazy mega firewall set up on her Sensen. But to be fair, we have seen that security isn't the biggest priority in this prison, so it checks out. With Madame's memories, I could get into the memory servers, but first we need another robot enemy, the Nephilims. They lift themselves off of the ground, then slam to your position, and after a short while, explode, which does damage, and is bad. Video game 101, if it's red and a circle, don't stand in it. 2 basic enforcers and a robot isn't a big deal though. That's why the game spawns in 2 more robots and 4 enemies, some with shields. To solve this unfortunate situation, Nilin remembers a new ability called Rust in Pieces. I get it, allowing her to turn robots into her allies and eventually self-destruct. Pretty easy way to deal with the robots, but also other enemy types. The Nephilims do not become your ally, but they work like a black hole. They first do a big suck, pulling in enemies and then explode. It looks a bit wacky, but fun. Now, if you thought this was it, joke's on you, more enemies spawn, this time 2 Seraphims and 4 more basic enemies. The Seraphims actually become my ally and shoot the enemies much faster than they shot me. Kind of nice from the devs to give those Seraphims a big boost when they are on my side. Clearly, the Rust in Pieces ability is amazing and super powerful. But it also has a 180 seconds or 3-minute long cooldown. That is a lot. So having combos that lower the cooldown is very important now. Skipping past the story between Sergeant Vaughn and Miss Madame, I come across another remembering, but this time the soldiers in Miss Madame's memory start attacking me. Nilin quickly asks Edge what's going on, but Miss Madame answers instead.
Since when has a remembrane turned out to be hostile? Edge, something bizarre is up here.
Edge won't be able to help you, dear. The game has begun, and it's my turn to play.
She manipulated her own memory, so if someone would steal it, it would fight back. Pretty smart. But buying a few dozen cameras is too much, huh? Madame, clearly thinking she has the upper hand, confronts Nilin directly at the top next to the memory servers.
Nilin, did you miss me?
Not bad. A latched remembrane.
I knew you would appreciate it.
I'm here to get my memory back.
Everything's here. You only need to look.
Your little games don't scare me, Madame.
In time, little one. In time.
And here comes a quick scene that is so incredibly good. I can't fully explain why. To me, this is the essence of Remember Me.
I have a new game. A special game just for you.
This scene just works so darn well. The memory, dreamlike area being incredibly quiet at first, but then the twist. The floor disappears, the music comes in, and the camera looks up at Nilin as she falls down. But she isn't scared and confidently knows how to handle this situation. A quick display of her athleticism, then a sick slide with the blocks breaking off, simulating dust particles, and a few steps to stop her momentum. And Nilin appears already prepared to confront Miss Madame in her own world. Everything together makes this scene the essence of Remember Me, at least to me. If we ever get Remember Me 2, and the developers don't know where to start when it comes to story beats and cutscenes, this is it. Just take this and make an 8-hour-long story out of it. Now it was time to confront Miss Madame in her mind or memory. This is technically the second major boss fight in the game. The focus is on fighting the enemies that she spawns once in a while, which allows me to lower my ability cooldowns, use the Sentient DOS, and making her vulnerable. As I go through the different phases, she ramps things up by using a variety of new abilities, like having projectiles fall from the sky, which then explode in a small area, or spawning in the Seraphims, making it difficult to build up a combo. Later in the fight, she also spawns clones of herself, and you have to find the real one. Let me pause the fight here. Guess who the real one is? Which Madame is the real Madame? If you thought the one on the right, because it has more color or more contrast, you are wrong. I seriously couldn't tell who the real one was, so I just randomly chose, and thankfully the game doesn't immediately make you lose or die if you get it wrong. I'm pretty sure if I used the Sentient DOS attack again, it would have made the clones disappear and stun the real one. Speaking of, that ability is kind of the only solution to this boss fight. Would have been neat if you needed all your abilities to slowly win this major boss fight. Keep in mind, this is Miss Madame, and she is the most powerful person in this prison. Only needing a single ability feels a bit strange. With the fight nearing the end, I completely mess up the QuickTime event as Nilin and Madame fall down. Nilin breaks out of her memory/mind prison thing, then rudely kicks Miss Madame to the ground and steals something from her Sensen, I guess. This unlocks the Force Spammer, allowing me to remotely move devices. So whatever Metroid Prime 4 is doing, Remember Me did it 12 years ago. 13 years ago. Quite a while ago, I mean. I'm joking, by the way. Moving something with telekinesis is quite basic for video games. I move a few things around and release the memories of all the prisoners. Conveniently, the memories know how or where to return.
Memory confinement protocols disengaged. Syncing back up with Origin storage media.
You did it! You've rebooted the Errorist Revolution. All our comrades have regained their memories.
Cell upon cell of vandalized minds, each receiving the memories that were stolen from them. Rebirth, momentarily adrift, their minds cling to anger, fueling their newfound liberty with an immediate need for action.
Wow, Edge is yapping. He's monologuing about rebirth and liberty. Moving on, Nilin gets her memories back. but they seem a bit more traumatic, and she passes out.
Where are my memories? I don't feel anything.
Don't worry. If there's one thing that works here, it's their backups. Your turn is coming.
Edge! This is only a partial restore. There are still holes. I can feel them. Blind spots. It's not the whole picture.
Something's wrong. Madame might have transferred your memories elsewhere.
Oh God! My crime, I remember! I killed him!
Now we see Nilin during the night hanging out on the side of a building, high up in the air, right outside the office of a guy called Forlan. She listens in, and Nilin decides to remix his memories. This is without the player's choice. Earlier, I mentioned a certain outcome that would work when you remix someone. To briefly recap, my main issue with remixing memories is you only change perceived reality, not reality itself. As a simple example, imagine I remix your memories of your day at Disneyland, not sponsored, when you had ice cream. Then I activate some glitches, and you drop your ice cream. Oh no, you are very sad and will remember that as a bad memory. But the ice cream was never dropped in the first place. In reality, you ate the ice cream and consumed the calories. If you have gained a pound after visiting Disneyland, I can't change that by just remixing your memories. Back to the memory called The Breakup, we can see Frank Forlan and his significant other, Alexia, having quite a rough relationship. The goal in this remix was to make Forlan kill Alexia. I did what I mentioned before by moving all the way to the end of the memory to see all the different glitches I can effect. I moved 4 things in total. The first one was the bottle, which makes Frank slip. His hand lands very close to his gun, which he then grabs out of anger. He threatens Alexia with it, and she mentions that he never took off the safety. But I did.
Be serious, Frank. You never even take the safety off.
Alex!
Nilin successfully remixed Frank's memories, and back in reality, Frank now believes that he killed Alexia. This would not matter, because it's perceived reality. It all falls apart if he gets a single phone call or even a message from Alexia. But it won't come to this.
You're not taking me in for this. It was an accident. I won't give you the satisfaction. I'm so sorry, Alex. I'm so sorry.
Incredibly dark, and this is kind of the only direct result of Nilin's powers. She could mess with a person's memories. She could maybe even break them down and control them in any way possible. But this takes time. She has to be fairly close to remix someone over and over, which has a high risk of being caught. But if Nilin remixes someone's memories and the person uses a gun on themselves, that's it. I could go more in depth on how Nilin could use her power for personal gains, which she technically already does, but this is getting a bit heavy for a video essay on a video game released in 2013. To end this episode, Nilin reflects on her actions and asks herself, what else has she done? Things that are even worse? She probably pre-ordered Cyberpunk. I'm sorry, the next goal was to strike at the heart of Memorize, which, as a reminder, is the company behind Sensen. The heart of the company is the president, Celia Cardia-Wells, who is the wife of Charles Cardia-Wells, who we saw back in episode 2, or about 3 hours ago. I don't know how long this video is going to be. To be fair, the game didn't properly prepare us to meet these characters. But they also don't come out of thin air if the player listened and looked at the environment a bit. The last word of episode 4 goes to Nilin, who isn't doing so well.
And so I asked myself, is winning this struggle worth losing my soul? Can one crime justify the reversal of another? The old Nilin seemed to have the answer. As for this Nilin, she doesn't have a clue.
Coming back to the Saint Michel district, it has broken down in a variety of ways. Water is flooding the streets, buildings and signs are broken, and leapers are everywhere. I had no part in this whatsoever.
Find that bitch Scylla and put an end to her reconversion project. Crush her errant beliefs. We must stop her from building an army of leapers.
In a fight between some leapers and the Skinner, I started to feel quite powerful. And to be honest, I felt in charge of the battle. Not because the game gave me more damage, but because I felt comfortable using the combos and my abilities. Around the corner, I grabbed another SAT patch to upgrade my focus meter by another slot. Edge yaps a bit again, but who cares? Look at this environment. It looks sick AF. Moving on and up the ladder, I get back to the square where we met Bad Request before. Good job on the developers reusing this entire area. Not only is it nighttime, which comes with different lighting, but the area is also partially broken down, which adds new gameplay aspects by having to climb over and around things. Thanks to having the spammer upgrade, I can move things around, then dodge and weave between the drones to continue onto the roofs, which gives me an overview of what I caused earlier. I mean, it's not my fault.
All this flood damage. They've lost everything. We did this.
The world is drowning, sis. You're the only one that can throw us a lifeline.
You're talking in riddles, Edge.
Also, I just realized what his picture reminded me of. It took me playing the game, writing this script, until now to realize it very much reminds me of Infamous. Speaking of, can we get Infamous on Steam now? It has been 16 years. Back to the game, bless the environment and the lighting team once again. Great vibe in this area. Climbing a bit more, I get into another fight with some invisible enemies, and the light itself. It turns on and off as the fight continues. Bit annoying, as it doesn't actively let me fight the enemies, and I have to wait to deal some damage. If I had a Sensen DOS, I think this fight would have been much faster, as it stuns the enemies, and I could just hit them. Moving through the door, I instantly die. Well done, drone. Further ahead, I encounter the Elite Enforcer. This is quite the ramp up in difficulty, because hitting them causes me damage. But I have to hit them, or else the game won't progress. I could use the spammer too, but that also causes me damage. So the game really wants me to focus on using a heal combo to out-heal the damage, which is a bit strange. It's already kind of weird how Nilin heals herself by hitting someone, but the game now doubles down on this. It's not the worst enemy design, but also a bit lackluster this deep into the game. I did get through it fairly quickly by just spamming Y and X. X being the heal present. It's thankfully fairly well balanced, so you can barely survive and spam that healing combo over and over. Is it going to be fast? No, but it's working. After a drone puzzle that took me a bit longer than I want to admit, and going over a crane to get to the other side, Nilin contacts Edge about how to get inside the building.
Edge, your way ain't gonna work. You got a plan B?
I'm inside their comms. Building's locked down. You need to track down a Captain Trace and steal his access codes. Careful, sis. He's eccentric and very dangerous.
Okay. We need to move. Where can I find him?
I have to steal the access codes from Captain Gabriel Trace. So we have to track him down. Just kidding, did you forget the story is running at 2x speed?
Hello, Nilin. Let's play a little game of you turn yourself in, but I shoot you anyway.
Edge. Captain Trace. He found me!
The game literally spawns him and he starts shooting at Nilin. Actually, a neat chase sequence with some twists and turns. Of course, most of the bullets are just show, but not all of them. I checked it.
There's a big bad on the wall.
I love the rapid change in environment over and over as you go from outside to a bridge, moving inside, briefly having some time to breathe, to then quickly being chased down again, and ultimately landing inside a building again. The way it's all set up feels very clean. And if you thought there's finally a break, no, I quickly enter combat with 3 enforcers, one being another elite. I beat them up, get up to the roof, and have my final encounter with Gabriel.
Nilin, stop playing with this freak. If he catches you off guard...
Yeah, okay, enough of the running commentary, thank you.
Running commentary. Nilin is on fire.
Stay frosty, sis. This guy's serious.
Stay frosty, sis? Edge, stop, my dude. I'm dying of cringe here. This fight against Gabriel Trace is a very simple one. You hide behind stuff so he doesn't see you with his light. I feel like we have seen this before, then try to move forward bit by bit. Okay, so you don't do it this way. In the next attempt, I go up the ladder, Nilin jumps on the ship and steals the access codes. Interesting enough, Gabriel says that Nilin is a memory hunter and apparently knows she stole something from him. So how does Olga not know that? There are quite a few plot holes, but I'll move on because I have to get to Scylla Cardia Wells.
What did you steal from me?
Adding a few presents to my combos and swapping things out, I get back to the balcony and new enemies appear. Well, kind of. They are still Leapers, but the elite enforcer is controlling them and their sensing. Makes sense for this privatized police force to use Leapers as trash fodder units. Very dark, but totally makes sense in this world. To be fair, these fights take very long, at least to me. I think I wasn't using my abilities properly, but my goodness, is every enemy tanky, and having 4 or 5 enemies at the same time makes doing my combos very difficult. It's not impossible, but a bit annoying, which I guess is the point. The game does mention multiple times that I should press the buttons when I hit the enemy. I never did that. Again, I'm not a combo-based player here, so having to also focus on my button inputs at the right time, while doing the buttons, while dodging, while having to look at the enemies, and preferably using my abilities the moment they are ready, it's all a bit too much for me. To be fair, this is not the easiest difficulty, so I could lower the health of enemies to make this easier, but also faster. For now, it's fine. With the enemies finally gone, I can access the building after a puzzle. So Gabriel Trace doesn't have the literal code in his brain, but with the remembering, I can hear him talk, which is a clue to the puzzle. Again, massive plot hole, because if Nilin could steal memories, then just steal the memory of him putting in the numbers. It's not rocket science. Either way, this is kind of neat, and we are playing a video game here. So here is what he says, and I somehow got it on my second attempt.
My first is second, and counting them all. My second is frozen when absolute. My third has all its senses. My fourth tap dances like a spider. And all put together, I can go through a door.
Moving through the building and towards the CEO's office of probably the most powerful company in France, somehow they only have 2 drones guarding this area. No cameras, no face recognition systems in 2086. Sure, video game. Sneaking into the office of Scylla Cardia Wells, she is apparently a gamer, being in a dark office, but also nearsighted, because she can't see me. Literally open your eyes, or just get some LED lights on the ceiling. I can literally see Nilin through the glass in the shot. How can she not see me? Nilin notices a strange metal structure in the background, but she focuses up and I get the input request to remix her memories. Edge mentioned earlier that I need to make her the main reason for the accident. Which accident? Well, 20.3 years ago, the crash happened. We have a younger Scylla Cardia Wells and Charles Cardia Wells on the phone as she drives from somewhere back home with a present for Nilin. Nilin is in the backseat, roughly 5 to 10 years old and causing havoc. Scylla doesn't really like it and locks her seatbelt. She turns her head away from the street, doesn't notice the upcoming traffic light, which turns red. This causes the crash. Yeah, see what happens, Nilin? That's your fault. I was totally looking at the street ahead. Greatest mother of 2064, by the way. Nilin has a little cut on her upper lip, which is the scar we have seen many times until now. The goal in this remix is to make Scylla guilty for the crash. I move and try things out as the camera turns outside the car. Really liking how everything is presented, especially with the rain. Now the main glitches are the cup holder, opening the bag, activating jacks, and cracking the windshield. Without a cup holder, she puts her cup just somewhere. Activating jacks moves him to Nilin, and cracking the windshield makes Scylla swerve the car. This pours all the hot, delicious coffee over her phone, which was underneath Jack's, who was in the present box earlier. Why would you put your phone underneath the present for your daughter? We're moving on. Let's not think about the plot holes. This causes the crash, which makes her feel like it was her mistake.
Mummy?
Nilin? It's all right. It's nothing. It's my fault, my darling. My leg.
Mummy! Mummy!
Mama. Nilin! Your leg. Oh, baby. It wasn't your fault. I should have been more careful. And it was your birthday. Oh, my poor girl. I am so sorry. I'm sorry too. Ironic, no? President of Memorize, who refuses to forget the worst day of her life. I'd lost all this. All of it.
Ma'am, the errorist agent has been spotted on your floor.
Really? The errorist agent is on her floor? Oh my god, invest in some cameras, Philippe.
Life has pulled us apart. But you will always remain my daughter. I'll never do anything to harm you. Mama, take it. Run! It leads to the roof. Run! Remember you soon. Philippe, tomorrow morning we will re-evaluate the strategy for the reconversion project. For now, everyone go home. Return to your families. You too, Philippe.
Certainly, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Nilin is reflecting once again, and she's clearly not doing so well. She is the daughter of Scylla Cardia-Wells, and the lost heir to the Memorize dynasty. She's also wondering about Edge. What is he playing? He very likely knows about Nilin's past, so why not tell her? After remixing the memories of her own mother, which she had forgotten about, it was time for her to get some answers.
Eating my past to create a better future. I'm tired of running, and I want answers.
Starting episode 6, Rotten Core, in the lava steel basements, I was greeted with a few seconds of silence. A great contrast to what just happened.
Nilin.
Of course, Edge has to chime in, and Nilin quickly says she's really not up for chatting. She's going to free Bad Request, but not for the cause, but for his own sake. Waiting for the elevator, a few invisible enemies attack Nilin. I think there was no way for me to deal damage until the elevator arrived, shining a light on them. I really like that little twist there, and having to play a bit defensively for just a few seconds. After riding the elevator and Edge yapping again, the upcoming room had a puzzle. At least for my small brain. I spent the last 10 minutes here in my 4th recording trying to figure out what to do. Even though the game told me in plain text, which is find bad requests, pick socket. The problem, if you didn't read that, the game doesn't tell you again. There is no quest system, because the game is so linear. So why build it into the game? But even if you pause, modern titles tell you the quest in the top right corner. This is so basic now in 2025, or even the past years, it's really missing in this title. But again, if you have a brain, this probably wasn't a problem for you. But this is my playthrough, and I just quit the game and took a 2-day break. With a clear mind and having looked up a YouTube Let's Play, I knew what to do. To break this down, after moving into this spot, the door or wall closes behind Nilin, so I couldn't get out. Clearly, the game wants me to do something here, or else it wouldn't lock me in. The goal was to find Bad Request's tool, and the game clearly shows names on the lockers that you can move around. I really just needed to put 2 and 2 together, and I know that's 4, I think. Before moving to Bad Request's locker, which I can move around with the Force Spammer, I actually moved it away. I grabbed the SAT patch in Nilin's belongings first. Now going back to Bad Request's locker though, I grab the upgrade that was needed to progress, the pick socket. The pick socket can overload the highest security locks. I think Bad Request used this in front of Nilin when she met him. I'm pretty darn sure it's the same thing. Kind of neat. So why does the prison not confiscate it and use it for research? Again, plot holes. Let's move on. Using this new upgrade, I open and close many doors and find Bad Request in his cell. He is being reconverted. His memories are being turned into soup. That's what's happening. She wants to help him get out of here, but someone is activating something which pulls Bad Request's cell away, brings in the drones and guards. This causes another battle, which ultimately gives Nilin her last ability, Sensen Camo. Now she can turn herself invisible. This is pretty powerful, because I can now instantly overload an enforcer if I get behind them. Edge now explains what the reconversion project truly is, which is wiping your memories, being turned into a husk or Lipa, and being controlled through the Sensen, becoming a mindless drone. The man in charge of the reconversion project is Dr. Quaid. After following Bad Request's cell by moving other cells around, platforming and climbing, Nilin finally gets to him. Nilin steals his memories, but nothing of him is left.
Nilin, my lost sister. That's what they were preparing for you when I broke you out of here.
It's sick. We must stop this.
Extract his memory. It's the only way.
Excuse me, brother. This time I'm going into your head without your permission.
So empty. So true.
There's none of him left, just...
He was truly wiped, and only foreign memories are left. He has become a husk of who we saw in episode 2.
Memorial capacity non-viable. Commencing subject transfer to sanitization pits.
Bad!
Nilin is now determined to bring him with her, but the cell is pulled away again. Leaving the cell at a different location, I follow what Edge advised me to do, which is to find Dr. Quaid. Ignoring the little glitch there are many remembrance in this area. It shows that about 3 hours ago, Dr. Quaid went with Bad Request through multiple locations, and following the chair, it opens the doors allowing me to progress. This is what would have happened to Nilin right after starting the game. She was spared this torture, because Edge saved her and helped her escape. The Remembrane also mentions that this is, in quotes, descending through Dr. Quaid's hell. We go lower and lower, into the facility. It's a reference to Dante's Inferno. After fighting some goons, my game turns into pink soup? I swear it wasn't me. After the cutscene and restarting from my checkpoint to fix the visuals, I get another shot of some glitchy stuff happening that whooshes past Nilin. Something is following us through the facility, or maybe just coming with us through the facility. After going through the next door and being authorized to enter, Nilin notices the corridor. This is the beginning of the game, where Nilin was able to walk out of her cell. This time, she walks towards it. Clearly disturbed by this, she does thank Edge for helping her escape, as it could have ended much worse for her.
Damn, flashback. I just got a glimpse of myself.
This place is the Devil's Cauldron. Maybe it's not so bad that you've forgotten what you went through here.
Hey, it was you who broke me out of this hell in the first place. I could never thank you enough.
Enough said, sister. What really matters is to stop Dr. Quaid.
Now voluntarily going through the door towards the device that should have deleted her memories completely, Dr. Quaid and two enforcers are waiting for Nilin. She quickly takes out a single enforcer, but the other one... Johnny Greenteeth was following Nilin through the facility all along. Sneaky, sneaky. He quickly follows Dr. Quaid through the door and leaves me to deal with a bunch of enemies. Lots and lots of elite enforcers, some seraphims shooting at me, and some more goons with shields. The game is clearly ramping up the encounters to test my limits. Still, the game isn't crazy difficult. The enemies are just a bit tanky and take some time. As long as I dodged and focused on a single enemy, it was fine. After this battle, I now could set up an 8-button combo. If the game would give me all the present and not lock them behind a question mark, that would be cool. Please, developers, just give me the last power present. I'm begging you. Going after Dr. Quaid through a hallway that was the hallway where I escaped the robot at the start of the game, I enter an arena. Dr. Quaid is yapping and thinking he's Jesus or something and calling the Leapers his children.
She would have us continue to live in these dark ages of individualism. Go, my children! Share with her my dream!
Yeah, this is not creepy at all.
Don't kill her! I want to taste her mind!
Did he just say he wanted to taste my mind? Ew? No? Moving on from that, more enemies spawn, I get brain blocked, removing a focus charge and putting all my abilities on cooldown. Kind of a nasty attack from the enemies. I like that Dr. Quaid is having monologues as I fight. For example, him saying that this was Charles's dream, Charles being the father of Nilin. Just a little bit of context and world building as you are fighting. I love that in games a lot, but it is sadly incredibly rare. The one game that does this very well, and I have a few hours in it, is actually Path of Exile, also from 2013. Before I start yapping about PoE, as if I wouldn't do that a lot already on my other channel, I defeat the last 2 elite enforcers and 2 skinners, which buff each other up. Hold up, is that allowed? I thought a skinner, the big guy, needs at least 1 leaper, the small guy, to have as a condition to have that buff. But 2 skinners can buff each other up. Isn't that kind of overpowered?
no one can stop me from finishing my work. And you, hunter of memories, you will no longer... Huh? Oh. No. No. Oh.
Johnny kills Dr. Quaid. Nilin, being the main protagonist, actually wanted to kill him too. She finds Bad Request now thanking her that Dr. Quaid is out of his head. But Dr. Green is initiating the self-destruct sequence, finally ending the reconversion project forever. But because this isn't a Metroid game with a big-ass timer on the top left, I had enough time to beat up Dr. Green by stunning him out of his invisibility with Sensen DOS and whacking him.
Too much hate! Enough! Guilty! Punishment! Silence!
Ultimately, Nilin loses if it wasn't for Bad Request jumping into action and giving her the opportunity to overload Johnny's Sensen and ending it. Sadly, this is also the end for Bad Request, as Nilin escapes the laboratory once and for all. Now back in Nilin's head, she says the fog of lava steel has lifted from her, and she sees that Memorize, Sensen, and the Leapers are all connected in a horrible secret experiment. As the very first cutscene showed, this is a false utopia, and she wants to rip it apart.
I must find the conception cube at the heart of Charles Cartier Wells's Monopolis. That's where the Sensen curse is kept. Warm and nurtured, immersed in the cobalt glow of the memorized central servers. Nothing will stop me from accomplishing this. Not the murderous machines, not the yabbering leapers, not the father I cannot recollect.
Flying into Episode 7, Paradise Lost, Nilin arrives with Olga at Monopolis. Sadly, Olga isn't a playable character, or even a sidekick for a mission. She wants Nilin to finally destroy it all, and that they will drink a toast to David when this is all over.
Make Memorize and flow, so the world forgets. Write down to Cartier Wells' name. We're gonna drink a toast to David when this is all over.
That is so wholesome. She was an antagonist first, and now is our friend. She literally has a fake memory of her dead husband in her head that Nilin created. We are so far away from being the good protagonist here. Gabriel Trace appears, now being very confused and ordering his men to attack Nilin. This starts probably the longest fight ever. I don't know why, probably because I didn't use the 8-button combo. But I was also just whacking the enemies with the same combo over and over, or use the heal combo. I gotta be honest, it started to become a bit stale, because either you insta-kill the enemies with an ability, or have to use the heal combo, or else you kill yourself by hitting the elite enforcers. So right now, the whole combat system isn't falling apart, but you can notice some cracks in it, at least for me. Nowadays, you would probably solve this by giving the player a small skill tree and giving a chance to heal 25% of life if you did a 6-button combo correctly. Something along those lines would go really far. As someone who likes Path of Exile, of course I am biased and want the skill tree in this game. activating the elevator, I can move on and nope, robot time. Different color, but same fight as previously. Shoot the arms, wait for the core to be shown, blast it, and then a sick quick-time event. Past the robot into a robotic area of some sort. I really like the verticality in this room. There are some cargo robots moving around that I can call up, that help me move through the area bit by bit. This helps me to get to the door on the other side. Edge yaps again, but does say that Gabriel Trace is on the 103rd floor. He sure does know where everyone is. It's like he is connected to them. A beautiful shot later of the big core, that's what I'm going to call it. The game jump scares me with enemies. Then I appreciated this robot's work on cleaning the windows, and also the rooms, because the team that decorated the rooms deserve a raise. In the elevator, Nilin has a nice chat with Edge, and she wants to meet up when this is all over. Edge says that secrecy alone is keeping him alive right now. Right. In this mall or small shopping center, I find Trace, who instantly runs away. Guards are moving anything they can get their hands on to stop the Leapers. The Leapers seem to be a bit cray-cray now after exploding the laboratory earlier. And again, I really appreciate the level design. There were many different levels in the past hour alone. Just a crazy amount of work and detail put in, which makes this linear game feel a lot more vast than it actually is. Beating up the enemies, moving down the stairs and chilling out in the launch for a bit, I get back to running after Trace, who is again calling up his men to beat me up. After that whole thing, Captain Trace is attacked.
Game over, Trace.
These two mutants steal his memories, leave his corpse behind and run away. I climb down gracefully and check his memories, which are just scraps at this point. To get into the conception cube I saw earlier, I have to get to the mutants, steal their memory, and get the last pieces of the riddle. Thankfully, these two mutants wait for me as a corpse on the ground in the next rooms, which enters another fight. The Sense and DOS ability comes to the rescue once again, as it stuns the enemies and mutants. This lets me whack at them over and over until a quicktime event. Nilin showing off her moves and repeating this again for the other mutant finally gets me the memories. Before moving on, I want to mention that I cut out a lot throughout this video, partially to keep it moving. For example, I usually went around for a bit to find these small SAT patches or other upgrades. This one right here gave me the third focus bar right before the end of the game, which was kind of neat. Finally getting into the central security post, I activate the Remembrane of Gabriel Trace. This is actually a neat puzzle that isn't too obvious, but also not incredibly obscure. That is the difficulty in making good puzzles. If it's too easy, you don't feel like you have achieved something. But if it's too obscure, you get stuck.
As mankind holds its head up high, and evolution's end looks down upon all that has gone before.
I'll explain this later, what H3O really means. Going up the stairs, there is another puzzle. Moving the holograms around so they point to each other in a certain way was fairly easy.
The wife listens to her husband, but abandons her child. The husband admires his wife, but cannot listen to her anymore. The child loves her protecting father as she does her deserting mother.
Conception cube seals broken via exterior manual override. Contingency protocols activated.
Open sesame. Charles' final bastion is cracked wide open. Go!
The seal of the conception cube is now broken, and I could enter it. After another fight, of course. This was actually pretty cool for one simple reason. I'll let it play for a bit, and maybe you notice it. This fight, which was right before the final area, had no battle music playing. It was very somber. I like these twists in games when the final fight, or close to the final fight, doesn't have crazy music blasting. It gives you that mental space and that contrast to think about what has happened until now and how is this going to end. Also loving the lighting and vibe of this area. I'm a sucker for sci-fi games. Nilin ruins it though with Daddy.
Daddy, guess who's coming home?
I'm dying of cringe, but maybe it's also that the internet has ruined me when it comes to the word Daddy. Back in Nilin's head, she is now ready to confront her father, and something is off with the dialogue.
Once I was Nilin, an errorist, feared and hated. Capable of sculpting your memory to my whim. Once I was the adored child of the Cartier Wells, themselves adored by a society they designed. Shadows and light. It's up to me to repair the damage.
Did you notice the sudden shift in the tone of her voice? I think the developers wanted to say more, but they might not have had time to animate it, so they just cut the voiceover short. Understandable, we gotta have this sick shot of her jumping. Episode 8, Sins of Our Fathers, is the final episode of Remember Me. And again, we are at 2x speed here when it comes to storytelling, because this isn't going to be the final character we have to confront. Now, Edge, being the all-knowing god gamer that he is, explains to Nilin who her father is.
Tell me about my father, Edge.
Charles Cartier Wells has walled himself away for years, dreaming of his ideal future. It's here that H3O was conceived.
H3O?
Memorized Central Server, the place where all these memories are stored. Only your father may enter. It's up to you now. Convince him to let you in.
Let's get this done.
The doors not being closed helps Nilin to move ahead, climb down the cubes in this room, and confront her father. Nilin now sees what Sensen was actually made for. Charles Cartier Wells and his life's work Sensen was created for Nilin. A way to remove painful memories, like that of a car crash.
His work became the only way he could save the life he loved so dearly.
What do you mean?
Look around you.
The power to remove painful memories. To forget a car crash. My God, he did all this for me.
And you are the only person in the world who can convince him to bring it to an end.
I can fix everything. Fix everyone. Just need a little more time. Just a little more time.
Now, give him a taste of his own medicine.
To fix everything, we, the player, have to remix his memories. This remix from 20.3 years ago, called The First Remix, Charles was experimenting with a certain technology to control the memories of Nilin. He uses it, removing the painful car crash memory and making Nilin happy again.
Nilin? Well, how do you feel? Do you think Mummy hates Jax?
No. Why? Did he do something bad?
No. No, he didn't. I found a cure for misery. Soon, I'll take all your hurt away, and we can be happy again. And then I'll free the whole world from pain.
Now my goal, or Nilin's goal, in this remix was to make Charles kill Nilin. The way to do that is to remix the remix itself. Hacking into the glove prototype enters the car crash scene. We can see Charles hovering over the scene, controlling Nilin's memories to make her think that no crash happened whatsoever. This was actually an outcome I remixed myself when I entered Scylla's memories before. But now it was my time to cause, in quotes, memory bugs by manipulating Charles's remix. I like how the game just calls them memory bugs. The developers don't tell you what the outcome is going to be after you are done manipulating the memory. I think we all know where this is going. So in this remix, many glitches are important. Retracting the cup holder, unlocking the seatbelt of Nilin, cracking the windshield, causing the coffee to break Jax, then repairing Jax, and having Jax interact with the electrical socket of the car. This whole thing makes Scylla not see the traffic light once again. This results in us, the player, killing the main protagonist as a child in her own memories, but also killing Nilin in Charles's memories.
Nilin! Oh my God, what have I done? Nilin! Nilin! My little girl! My child. Forgive me.
I wasn't naturally gifted. I was just a good student.
You were his experiment, Nilin. Break him. Do it.
Oh, Edge. What a tragic waste.
Stop.
Nilin? Oh. I see. You remixed the remix. It's very clever.
You must stop everything, Papa. The experiments, the abuses, the lies. The entire world is dying from an overdose of amnesia and false memories. The horrors I have dug up.
Scylla arrives, confronting Charles and telling him about the riot and war outside while he was inside his cube. To access the central servers, they both have to override the access together. Edge, being a backseat gamer, seems to be quite excited about this situation.
It's our fault, Charles, and it has to stop.
We're nearly there.
The security system is impossible to breach. Unless...
It is time.
Unless both you and I authorize access. Together.
Et voila!
That's why you sent me to remix them. Only they could authorize access to the central server.
Now it's your turn, sis, to finish the job!
After all, we just followed his missions, which resulted in both of these characters to come together and unlock the path forward. After the override, Charles gives Nilin back her memories that he stole so many years ago.
You're a better, stronger Cartier Wells than either me or your father. I'm proud of you, my daughter.
Here. It's for you. I don't need your memories anymore. When you were little, you often came down here to visit me. These memories will help you find your way.
Thanks, Papa.
You're welcome, my little smarty.
I like how the developers didn't have Edge talk for a bit after riding the elevator. This gives us, the player, to absorb and process what just happened and is happening. The memory servers having memory glitches of some sort, looking a bit like spider webs, is a great detail. We are, of course, very deep into sci-fi territory here, but I kind of dig it. Edge comes back talking about how he hasn't relived her memories for a while. We, as a player, have formed quite a few new memories as well until now. I was about 7 hours into my playthrough at this very moment, and a lot has happened. From escaping La Bastille, meeting Tommy at his bar, remixing Olga's memories, enjoying the beautiful scenery of Saint Michel and Neo Paris, to overthrowing Miss Madame's reign, failing to save Battery Quest, confronting Dr. Quaid, to coming back to the birthplace of Edge and H3O.
And here I am. Back to where it all started.
Yes. It's here that you gave birth to me.
Don't you find the expression a little abusive, brother?
It's just a question of perspective. When did you figure it out?
Just now. Edge is H3O. It hit me. It's obvious.
I really want to die. I didn't lie to you.
Who are you? Really?
I am Edge. I am a spontaneous entity born from the putrid pits where everyone flushed their most horrible and painful memories. I am H3O. My first memories are the tears of a girl. I am the child of Memrise and its worst enemy. I am the father of the Leapers and their grim Reaper. I am your friend. You must kill me.
And if I don't want to?
There is no choice, sister. I will force you to confront me, and if you do not win, I will destroy you.
To give some context, because I didn't understand it. Earlier, the combination of hominis being Latin for human, memorize being the company, and the word evolutio combining to H3O should mean humanity 3.0. If I read H3O, I think of chemicals. I just didn't get it. Again, we are deep into sci-fi now. But H3O is a being that was born out of the misery and negative emotions from humans. So, lots of memory servers is a lot of data, and that caused H3O, which Edge is a part of.
I'm afraid.
As am I.
If you are still with me, congratulations. So yeah, this is where I think the game really flops on its face story-wise. The presentation is, I guess, kind of cool, going through the different locations that we remixed before. Gameplay-wise, I think it's worse than the fight on the bridge thing earlier. The enemies are just basic leapers, just reskinned. They barely attack to give you the chance to attack yourself, build up focus, and go into meow cat mode. Then you can hit the black cube that H3O conveniently displays because he really wants to die. Then some sick cutscene of Nilin going full shonen anime mode, landing on the projectile that landed in H3O's body, or whatever, and punching his core. You repeat this twice, while H3O spawns the AoE projectiles from above, like in Miss Madame's fight earlier. If you think we haven't gone full anime mode yet, you aren't ready for what you are about to see.
I'm sorry, Edge.
It wasn't your fault, sister. Finish me. Now. The pain is dissolving, and I go with it. In a few seconds, my memories will be returned to the people. Adieu, Nilin. Remember you soon.
This is the final, fully rendered 1080p cutscene, and what she says is giving whiplash left and right. I don't want to call this worst writing ever, because Cyberpunk 2077 exists. Got him. And the last season of Game of Thrones. But holy heck.
My friend's name was Edge. Born from the sense and abuses, he was the first to understand that we were all floating adrift. Edge died to remind us that some intimate doors are not supposed to be opened, and that suffering, like painful memories, is just part of life. My name is Nilin Cartier-Wells. I am a memory hunter. I can know everything about you, and I can make you believe whatever I want.
This is my gift. My legacy. For the first time in my life, I remember exactly who I am. Outside my fortress, I now have a family to go back to, and a world to confront. A damaged world. A world to heal. This is what my friend taught me before he disappeared. I'll never forget him.
I know this video is already very long, but I kind of need to break this down. This is a very bad ending, and personally, I think the journey of a game is important, but so is its ending. Because you remember, pun intended, the start and the end. Boy, is the end trash. First off, she learned, thanks to Edge, that suffering is part of life. She is over 20 years old. Good job on being human, I guess. It's not revolutionary thinking here, but sure, some player might needed to hear this, and it might have helped them. Fine. Then her saying she can know everything about you and can make you believe whatever she wants, and calling that her gift is Whiplash number 2, because this is the main protagonist. I don't feel good about this now. She is clearly not a good person at all, but also not a good bad person either. She is just bad and kind of dumb, right? And ultimately, she now knows who she is and has a world to confront. A damaged world and a world to heal. She has brought a man to suicide by having changed his memories. Nilin Cardia Wells, everyone. Please clap. I don't know, man. This ending is whack. It's strange and doesn't make me feel good for Nilin, nor does it make me feel good for having done all these things. It is a story-focused game, but with a very weak story and many plot holes. On top of that, the gameplay was fine. As mentioned earlier, like 2 hours ago, I think Daniel Krupa from IGN said it really well, that Remember Me wants to desperately play up some big ideas, the fallibility of memory, the constructed nature of identity. Huge ambitions, which are admirable, but like, we do not see that in gameplay. I'm not even sure if a sequel could ever be a thing. This story is so weird and convoluted that writing yourself out of this hole is going to be impossible. The only thing I could see happening, that the main character you play in the sequel is a new type of errorist, or anti-errorist, and the entire goal of the sequel would be to bring down Nilin, after maybe a few decades of her becoming some kind of big ruler or queen. As we have seen and heard in the story multiple times, she was part of a group that caused damage to many people for their cause. She wanted to kill people and changed people's reality for her own gains multiple times. And she thinks this was good, and her ability to remix memories is a gift. A gift to who? This man? Even with all its plot holes and subjective writing mistakes, there is a lot to love about Remember Me. The gameplay was fun throughout the entire game. It got a bit boring towards the end, but some games are just boring to play from minute 1. And to me, the gameplay is the most important part of any video game. On top of that, Remember Me had some absolutely gorgeous environments and lighting. I think I mentioned it like 10 times throughout this video. We have come far in the past 12 years with ray tracing and modern visuals, but the game still holds up really well. And lastly, I like the vibe of the game. There is this thing that French developers have. I can't really put it into words, but having played a bit of Expedition 33, I feel some similarities. Maybe you feel the same if you played both games. It's kind of poetic to think that a memory that was created 12 years ago stuck with me until now to make this very video. About a game I continued to remember. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you stayed hydrated throughout this very long video. Until next time.